Hello, hello. Looks like we are live. I'm obviously not in the Dharma Talk Tuesday chair right now. Let me see this lighting. Which lighting works? I'm testing new lighting here. I am currently at a leadership training. I'm just going to take this thing off and see what happens. Okay. So those of you that are joining, hello. So good to see you. Oh my gosh, isn't it funny? You get these contraptions, technology. I got this light thing, and it totally doesn't help. So I'm at a leadership training right now, and it's so exciting because the reason why I love the transformational space so much is because to me it's inspiring to watch people transform before my very eyes. Like, have you ever heard that phrase, you can't teach an old dog new tricks? I just love watching that be proven wrong over and over and over again. So I'm at a hotel. I'm not in the Dharma Talk Tuesday chair. All right, so you guys always hear me talk about the lighting. I'm like, the lighting. Moving right along, we are talking about time today. And this is something that I just hear so many people say they want. They say they want time freedom. They want ownership of their time, ownership of their schedule. They want to be able to call the shots. They want to be able to spend time, quality time with their kids as they're growing up. They want to be able to take time away from work or be location independent from their work. They want to be able to not be tied down to a desk, to a location, to a certain time of day that they're at present committed to working. And I'm here to tell you that's completely possible and available for you. And I'm going to tell you how. Today, I'm going to talk about the 3 keys to owning your time. Hearts and likes if that sounds exciting to you. Let's see who we've got here today. We've got Julie, all the way from St. Louis. Hello, Brian, Laura. Hello, hello. Kathy, Carrie Stanley, also from the Midwest. Hello. How are things over there in the snowy Antarctic? Although it's obviously warmed up there, hasn't it? I hear it's warmer there than it is here in San Diego right now. We've got Anne. Hello, hello, hello. And as you are joining us here today, if you know someone who would really benefit from this conversation of how do I own my time? Tell me, how do I reprogram my energy blueprint? Okay, because again, I always say this, we're operating from the assumption and the understanding that we are the sole creator of our reality. We are the sole creator of our experience. We're the ones that are creating it. You're the one creating your reality, not your husband, not your boss, not the president of the United States. You. And the cool thing about that is that gives you power. And that means that you are at cause. You can do something about it, which is very exciting. So that's why we operate from that distinction, because it's the most powerful. Carrie says, freezing rain tonight. It dropped back down after the snow melted. Sounds just like the Midwest. I know, being a St. Louis girl. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I just love this topic so much because, well, you'll see why as we get going. But one of the reasons why I love this topic so much is because I really believe that when you can reprogram your energy blueprint and you can reprogram your set points, I talk about this all the time, your energy set point, you can actually reprogram it. And when you do, your external reality starts to manifest very differently. So it's not like, have you ever heard be, do, have? So a lot of people in our culture operate with have, do, be. Like, when I have this thing, I will be, like, let's say when I have $1 million, I will be free. And then I can have time freedom. But that's not how it works. It actually starts with the being first. When you are from the inside out, free from the inside out, when you reprogram yourself, your energy, which I'm going to talk about today, from the inside out, then you can generate something different. You can do something different with your time, with your space, with your energy, and then you can have what you want. Be, do, have, rather than do, have, be. Cool? I think it's all very exciting. Okay, so I have my notes here because I don't want to miss anything. The first thing that you really get to get connected to, if you're ready and excited about establishing time freedom in your life and in reprogramming your energy blueprint to reflect time freedom as opposed to, being sort of like a prisoner to time, is having a vision. So I really don't recommend going for having, let's say, $1 million just for the sake of having $1 million, because here's what happens. At some point, when things get hard, not if things get hard, when things get hard, I'm actually going to change the lighting here. When things get hard, you're going to back away, you're going to back down. There's going to be a circumstance, there's going to be a situation that comes in, and you're going to say, I can't do it anymore. It's too hard, something came up. And this is just human nature, right? There's obstacles along the way. I mean, look at all the movies, all the books that are written about the hero's journey. Think about Harry Potter. I think about, that one's the most obvious to me. Maybe name some in the thread here. Name some books and stories and movies. Star Wars. How about Lord of the Rings? I mean, all the best books, all the best movies depict the story of the challenges that come along the way, along the journey. And you better believe, if that protagonist, if that hero doesn't have a vision, they will stop when it gets hard. They will stop when the dragon approaches. They will stop when the bad guy appears and run away. So we all have different dragons. We all have different bad guys. They look very different in all of our lives. And you're actually bigger than that dragon. You're bigger than that bad guy. And specifically, your vision is bigger. So when you wake up every day really connected to that vision, and I would love even just to be witness to it here in the chat and in the thread, what is your vision? Carrie Stanley, Kathy Lucchesi, what is your vision? Ann Brown, Stephanie Edelman, Laura Voronkova, post your vision here. Right in the comments thread here, what is your vision? And by vision, I mean the thing that you're passionate about, your dharma, the thing that you were put on this earth to do. Not everyone is like crystal clear about it, but I promise you that if you get quiet for a minute and if you actually listen, you'll hear, that's what gets me excited. That's what gets me passionate. There is something, I promise you there is. And maybe you know what it is, but you don't know the how, and that's okay too. I would love for you to type your vision here. What is your dharma? What is your calling? What is the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning, gets you excited, even if you're not doing it yet, even if you don't know the how? That's the very first thing that you want to get connected to. Because again, time freedom, the scheduling, all of it, it's just a mechanism. It's just the how. And if you don't know why you want time freedom and what that time freedom is going to avail you, then the time freedom doesn't matter. It's knowing what that avails you. It's knowing how you want to use your time from a visionary standpoint. No one wakes up and says, I want to do, 30 sales calls today. No, but maybe they wake up and they say, wow, I'm going to empower 30 people in their lives, and their lives are never going to be the same again because I called them today. And that's part of the vision. Maybe you're someone who empowers mothers. Maybe you're someone who empowers, Carrie, I know you empower doctors. Maybe you're someone who empowers people to reclaim their health. And that's something you get to get connected to every single morning. That's step one. Step two is, the second key, is to embrace responsibility. And I love this word because it triggers people, because so often in our culture, and I hear this all the time, I hear it from clients, I hear people I'm coaching, it's like we shirk from the word responsibility. We hear responsibility and it's like, ooh, I don't want that. Because we think of responsibility and we think of obligation, heaviness, being tied down, being trapped, being like chained. And it's like there's this feeling sometimes, I've heard people say this, that it's like responsibility is taking away your freedom. Hearts and likes if you know what I'm talking about. And so there's this stigma around the word responsibility. But here's what responsibility also is. Responsibility is also ability to respond. And it's having a powerful ability within you to respond to anything. And it's not to react, it's to respond. Because who knows that there's a difference between reaction and responsibility. There's a book I'm reading right now called The Artist's Way. Hearts and likes if you know about it or if you've read it before. And The Artist's Way is written by a woman named Julia Cameron. And she helps people, supports people in reconnecting with their creative, authentic selves, which is so cool because she actually talks about it in the context of like letting God flow through you. And I just love the divine component that she brings into it. Anyway, there's quotes alongside each page in the book. And one of the quotes, I'm going to butcher this, but it says something like, it's like the thing about responsibility is that, or the thing about reclaiming your power, reclaiming responsibility is that now you don't need to blame anyone else for what you have anymore. I totally butchered that. I'll post it here once I find it later, but when I'm home. But the reason why that's powerful and the reason why it scares people, and maybe if you're honest with yourself, it scares you, is because when you decide to be responsible and be in ownership, like awesome, you say you want sovereignty, you say you want to totally own your time and own your schedule, what you're really saying is, I want to be responsible. I want to be in ownership. So what that's also saying is not just about ownership of time, it's also about ownership of everything in your life, everything that's working and everything that's not working. Everything that's working and everything that's not working. And again, there's a power to that. There is such a power to that. And so what I've discovered is that one of the things that stops people from actually experiencing time freedom is that there's a fear inside of them that they don't trust themselves to be responsible with their time. They don't trust themselves to like be in ownership at that level. And I see this with money too. But that's another conversation. We're talking about time right now. And I think one of the reasons why this happens, if you look at our education system, is because, think about it, like we've been under the agenda, and I use that word neutrally actually, of other people's visions, let's say, really since we could walk and talk. We go to preschool, we go to kindergarten, and then we go on to, the K through 12 school system, and then we go through high school, and then we go through college, and maybe we go through graduate school, and then we get a job. and all of those times, guess who's determining your schedule, your life, when you eat, when you rest, when you work out? Like someone else is determining that along the way. So you actually get programmed to operate under someone else's schedule and what someone else thinks is best for you. And again, it's a neutral thing. I'm not saying it's like good or bad. I don't have a judgment. I don't have a stance other than the fact that, like, if you're committed to time freedom, you have to break free of that. And you have to recognize that you've been in that programming your whole life, and that it's going to take something from you to reprogram that. And the reason why I think this is powerful and important to talk about, especially for entrepreneurs, is because I've seen it so often among my clients. They achieve money freedom, they manifest money, they get clients, they're like in the flow, they're getting customers, but they're still operating like they have a job. And they're still operating like they've got to report to somebody, or they have to do things the way that like society tells them to, or they have to do things the way that they've always done them based on the way that they like grew up, or that their boss told them, or whatever. And that's actually getting in the way of their ownership and their power and their next level of manifesting and abundance and freedom in every way. And so what I guide them in doing is reclaiming that power, which a big part of that, like 99% of that, is reclaiming responsibility and saying, you know what? I reclaim all my responsibility. I'm going to take and be in full responsibility for everything that's working, everything that's not working. I'm going to play with this. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to commit to something different and test out some new results. I mean, it's all play when you really look at it. It's like you get to, if you look at it this way, it's like I'm going to play play the instrument that is my day a different way to a different tune and see what that sounds like. And you have the option to do that every single day. And for a lot of people, there's a fear of playing a new song, dancing a new dance, playing the instrument a different way, because they're like, what if I mess up in the song and the note goes flat? And what if I'm doing a new dance and I fall over? And they're actually more committed to doing it right or to looking good. They're more committed to being comfortable than to risking. We talked about risking before. They're more committed to that than to risking, which is my last Dharma Talk Tuesday last week. And that doesn't work. It completely gets in the way of transformation and freedom. So what I'm saying here is in being in responsibility and ownership of everything that's working and that's not working, and being willing to try those new things. Okay. The last thing I want to say is, how do you know what to try? Like, okay, I hear what you're saying, Julie. I get to try new things. I get to be uncomfortable. I get to play the instrument that is my day in a whole new way that I've never heard it before. But how? Like, how do I know the sheet music for the new song? Where do I find that? How do I test out new instruments? How? And I want to tell you how, okay? And this is where, if you've been following me for a while, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. And if you're new to following me, I'm gonna educate you a little bit. The way that you find out what to do next and how to try something new is by following your body wisdom, okay? So I really believe with every cell in my body that your body knows what it wants. That your gut, I mean, have you ever heard that phrase, trust your gut? Or have you ever heard someone say, I have a gut feeling about that person or about this, or like my heart's telling me to go this certain way. Like hearts and likes, if you've heard that phrase before. So there's a reason why we say that in our culture, and the reason is because it's true. Your gut's talking to you. In fact, there is scientific literature, peer-reviewed literature, that says there are, I forget the percentage, but there are a substantial amount of neurons in your gut. There are a substantial amount of neurons in your gut. Like, isn't that crazy? The neurons aren't just in your head, in your brain, they're actually in your gut. And so you're actually using, it's not just like an energy woo-woo thing, like you're actually using the neurons in your gut to make decisions. It's a real, legit thing. So I call that body wisdom. And I really believe that God actually talks to you through your body wisdom. If your body is out of alignment, it's going to be really hard to hear the divine wisdom of God. It's going to be really hard, especially if you're used to being a very logical person. If in your life up until this point, you've always used your head to make decisions, it feels very foreign, almost like speaking a whole new language, to use your body wisdom to make decisions. It requires trust, it definitely requires risk, and it requires something new from you for sure. Definitely a willingness to go there. Some of you are hearing me and you're like, I got this, I know exactly what you're talking about, and maybe you can comment and share your experience, your testimony of how trusting your gut has worked and how what trusting your body wisdom means to you. So I want to introduce you to a word that I like to connect with when I'm making a decision coming from my body wisdom. And that word is delicious. That word is delicious. Okay? And the reason why I love that word so much is because I'll actually ask myself when I'm about to make a decision about something, I'll ask myself, does this sound like the delicious thing to do? How would this make me feel? Does this just like feel delicious to me? I'll give you an example. So I used to have a belief that in order to be successful, I needed to subscribe to the point of view that I've heard talked about on podcasts, in magazines, and blogs, that you gotta wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, attack your day with some totally crazy athletics, and then go into your day. That's what I believed. And so I actually did that. I used to do triathlons, and oh my gosh, Thomas, hello. Hello. I'm gonna come back to these comments in a second. So I used to believe that, and so I did it. I did triathlons. I had a major fear of swimming in the open water, and I did it anyway because I was so committed to being that successful person. And if successful people wake up at the crack of dawn and jump in the ocean and swim 400 meters, that's what I'm gonna do. So I did it, and I definitely had a lot of breakthroughs. It was very worthwhile. But what I started to learn as I started to, over a period of time, develop my own self-trust, my own relationship with my body wisdom, and my willingness and commitment to trust myself, I started to learn that my body was actually telling me a different message. And I went through a period of time where my body actually said, no, we want to wake up early, yes, but we want to stay like in bed or on the couch and open your journal and do your morning pages, and then pray, and then read some scripture or some ancient texts, and then cuddle with my dog a little bit, and then post on social media, do my Instagram daily post, and then take my dog for a walk and not start calls, and then maybe go to the gym, or maybe go to the gym later in the day, and then start calls somewhere between 11 and 12. And so I started doing that, and I will tell you, I had some resistance because I still had this belief that successful people don't operate that way. That's like lazy. So I had these beliefs, I had these stories, but I was willing to try it because it was something my body wisdom was telling me. And so I did, and do you know what I discovered? I discovered that when I started trusting myself and doing what felt delicious, what happened was my results changed. My revenue increased. My clients felt connected to me. I was able to connect with them in a way that I'd never connected with them before. And then guess what happened? They got great results. They started creating transformation in their dharma and the things that they're up to. I started showing up differently in romantic relationship with Matt because I was feeling filled up. I was feeling in alignment. I felt like I wasn't exhausted by the end of the day. I was still nourished. My cup was overflowing. I had everything I needed. All my needs were met. I felt filled up. I felt totally on fire and passionate and excited and ready to give. Because I was choosing that which felt delicious in my body wisdom with regards to the way that I was managing my time. And what I needed to do in order to make those scheduling changes was to let go of the programming, to let go of the way that all the decades of programming that I had experienced in, like I said, the schooling system, college, graduate school, corporate, all of it. And by the way, it's very important to say, I am not someone who's against schooling. I had incredible teachers. I had an extraordinary time in college. I am so grateful for my degree, my teachers, and I have so much gratitude for all of those leaders. I'm also an incredibly disciplined and rigorous person. I'm also incredibly committed to my schedule. I love my schedule. I love having a calendar that's rigorously booked out in a very specific way. So I'm not against those things. I'm not against having a calendar. I'm not against having a schedule. I'm not against, having a job or going to school or any of that. What I'm saying is that the power is in being in ownership of it. The power is when you are in authority over your day, over your vision, and your schedule actually comes out of your vision as opposed to out of what you think other people think you should do, or what you've always done, or what's been always done by society and by culture. That's the difference, and it's very important to me to make that distinction because it's very authentic for me and very true. And if there's anyone on here who is unclear about that, now hopefully you're clear. Okay, so let me see what some of you were saying. Carrie says, my vision is to help stressed out, burnt out, overwhelmed, high-achieving women to live a full, epic, bold life that God is calling them to through exotic international retreat experiences. Wow, so awesome. Laura says, what is my vision? My vision is to be wealthy, helping others with promoting their business and services to get out of the rut of life and start living the most magnificent, joyful version of their lives. So beautiful, Laura. Deb says, to create an education center that supports people psychologically, emotionally, and mentally. I love to inspire people to be the highest version of themselves. I used to be scared of responsibility. Thank you for acknowledging that. I'm sure that inspires other people to see and hear, especially around running a business. However, after more internal work and stepping up and jumping in, I'm finding this responsibility very freeing. Deb, thank you for presencing that. That's very powerful. Let's see. She says, I was always, wow, big message. I was always concerned that I was not perfect enough or smart enough, so I delayed setting up business for 10 years. Wow. She says, as soon as I trusted my body and said, I am now willing to take full responsibility for what is not working and learn from that, everything changed. That is so powerful. So I'm going to let you all read the rest of her message, but that's just so incredible. Anna De La Rosa, thank you for joining, and you have such a powerful testimony that I would love for you to share and share your vision and what you've created over the years. You've just, you guys, Anna is one of my former clients, and what she's created over the years in her business and in her life and the freedom that she's created for herself, that's exactly what I'm talking about here. And she had such a willingness and such a courage to take those risks and pay those prices and go where she was honestly very afraid to go at first, but she went there, and it was all worth it for her. So Anna, I would love for you to share that. It's a really inspiring, it's a really, really inspiring story. Okay, so all of this being said, the opportunity for you as you're watching this right now is to get connected with yourself about what time freedom feels like for you, and how it relates to your vision. So what is your vision? And if you're ready and willing and committed to be in responsibility and ownership of all of the things that are working and all of the things that aren't working, to shift, to actually reprogram yourself, because that's really what it takes. Connect with your body wisdom, what it's saying, what is delicious. What is delicious to your body? What does it want? What new way will you play the instrument of your day and see how, try it on? Like another analogy I use is try on a new coat, see how it feels. It might feel kind of uncomfortable at first, but then you break it in and it starts to feel great, or maybe it just does not work and you take it off and you put a new one on. And being willing to try those new things, taking those risks, and then noticing when something is working, you'll feel it. Like you will feel in your body. Like when I started that different routine, which I say that it's already shifted again, but there was a significant period of time where I was in. I mean, it sounds crazy, but I was in my pajamas in bed till like 10 o'clock in the morning, cuddling with my dog and writing copy, and I was like on cloud 9, and I was generating epic results. In fact, that was the first time in my business where I had a massive weekend. I actually sold $4,000 in $77 products in one weekend from operating that way, and that sort of ownership of my time and that kind of schedule. Isn't that crazy? So it can look a lot of different ways for a lot of different people. You don't want to compare. You don't want to put judgment on it. That will totally dampen the deliciousness. It'll totally dampen the wisdom that's coming through. So just let it be and be willing to play and experiment and try it on. Okay, so those are the three things. Those are the three keys. I look forward to seeing your comments, thoughts, and questions about that. And then the final thing that I want to say is that if this conversation has piqued your interest and you're curious about what the vision conversation even looks like for you, what time freedom looks like for you, what reprogramming looks like for you, what even body wisdom is. I mean, let's even start there. Like, what even is body wisdom? How do I access it? Where does it come from? Or how do I connect with my body wisdom on a deeper level such that I'm able to manifest my dharma, my purpose, manifest money in a way that I've never experienced before, without burnout, without exhaustion, without making myself sick? Because that's all possible for you, and that's really what we're talking about here, then I recommend booking a call on the link that I will be posting here when we hop off. Because, unless I can do it now. Oh my gosh, I can do it now. This is so exciting, I've never noticed this before. Okay, so I'm gonna try to post a link here. It's the Dharma Circle. I wish I could copy and paste, but it's not letting me. dharmacircle.com/custom abundance. If I can spell. Custom abundance. Thanks for your patience, you guys. Custom abundance plan. I think that's the link. I'm going to try that again. I'm going to post it again here if that didn't work. So you can book a call there. It's totally complimentary and totally free with my team. You might even get lucky and get me on one of the calls, in which case, awesome, well manifested. But my team members are amazing too. My elite coaches are exceptional. And we will actually walk you through and we'll show you, and you'll leave the call empowered with your custom abundance plan. How exciting is that? All right, I'm going to hop off here. Hope this was empowering and exciting and inspirational for you. And I will see you next week, 6 p.m. Pacific on Dharma Talk Tuesday.